Welcome to the bold analysis. First, I want to start by sharing sympathies and condolence message to families of 11 students that just perished in a road accident. The 11 Kenyatta University students that were heading to Mombasa for a tour, the medical students. May God comfort you during this difficult moment. I can't just imagine how the parents and the relatives are feeling losing a child, a daughter or a son who was in a university. And I will not want to mention the name, but I think one of us just reached out to me here telling me that he has lost a sister. And may God comfort you during this difficult moment. I am seeing knee-jerk reactions to gaslight the public over the recent heckling incidences in Rift Valley and President's recent political rallies in Kericho and Bomet were marred with violence, with the public coming out to heckle UDA leaders in front of the president. And I think my position was very clear that as much as we were saying that it is those governors who are being heckled, but the bigger picture is the fact that William Samoei Arap Ruto has also lost the presidential stature. I also argued and said that that cannot happen without the knowledge of the intelligence. Or rather, I also complained about colossal intelligence lapses that could largely be blamed about this. And so today, the Kindiki, the Interior Security Cabinet Secretary, was arrived in Kericho very early in the morning, 5 a.m., and met with the county security team at the Kericho County Commissioner's office, as you can see here. And when he walked out and gave a press briefing later, I think that when he was again, he went while speaking in Trans Nzoia, said that he is going to ensure that all those who heckled the president will be arrested.
We have noticed with concern an increasing tendency of intolerance among political leaders, and we are asking political leaders to conduct their politics within the law, and they must maintain the peace in their political meetings. No person is allowed to disrupt public meetings, to use guns, to mete out violence and harass members of the public. Politicians are allowed to differ on ideologies, programs, policies, and viewpoints because our constitution allows multi-party democracy. However, no politician of whatever stature is allowed to use violence, guns, and other criminals to harass, intimidate, or incite the public against each other. And I have left very firm and clear directives on the Trans Nzoia County Security Committee to be firm, ruthless, and merciless on all people who sponsor, finance, encourage, support, aid, and abet goons and political thugs who go to disrupt meetings organized by people of a different viewpoint. And it doesn't matter whether the organizers and sponsors are pro or anti-government. We will crush them equally.
I was shocked by these threats that Waziri would even imagine of arresting people in a crowd. Look at this. I want you to look at this video. This is the video when the president, and there was heckling in Murang'a, if I'm not wrong. And there was heckling in Nyeri. So I think the issue of heckling is not as casual as just I will arrest. Now, I saw this as a strategy of issuing threats so that people will be threatened, you know, and feel if I heckle in a president's meeting, I will be arrested. But then what I don't seem to get is, why is it that President Ruto and the team are acting in some sort of a panic while they argued, there was an argument that William Ruto should be less bothered about that heckling because those who are being heckled are governors and are not him. Or rather, that hostility is targeting the governors and not him. And someone asked me today, Kevin, aren't these governors elected on UDA ticket? Just excuse Kawira Mwangaza, who is an independent governor. Eric Mutai, Governor Mutai in Kericho and Barchok in Bomet are all UDA governors. Aren't all these people UDA supporters? Or are they UDA supporters for governors and UDA supporters for the president? And that really made me arrive at a conclusion that the real sense is that even William Ruto's handlers believe very well that the disapproval message is targeting the president. And this is what Rigathi was saying yesterday while he was speaking in Nandi.
Mtu yeyote atakosea rais wangu heshima, tutakosana. Awe governor, awe senator, awe MP, anybody from this region and our backyard, pahali sisi tulipigiwa kura 100%, we want total respect for President William Ruto. Na mikutano yake hawezi kuwa vile niliona jana. Sasa niliangalia TV jana, ile maneno yote mzuri rais alifanya hakuna. Si mliona TV jana? Ile naoneshwa ni vita na kelele. Ile mazuri yote ilikuwa imetulete, imepotea. Let us be very, very careful. Very careful. Msioneshe Wakenya wengine kama hamuna haja na kiti ambayo mlipewa. Hii ni kiti ya maana sana na iko nyumbani. And the only way to show the people of Kenya you appreciated their support ni kuwa na heshima katika sherehe ambaye inaongozwa na rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya.
Yes. So Rigathi even opened it by saying tunaonyesha rais aibu. Why would you say it is aibu on president while on the other end you believe that the person being heckled here is not the president, but the person being heckled here is the governor? And I understand there was someone, security team, and Ruto is scratching his head to find answers to a big question. How fast? Is it just like 17 months after election, the young men and women that sang Hatupangwingwi, that wailed and marveled at seeing the convoy of the president, have turned hostile and are simply outrightly disregarding the voice of President William Samoei Arap Ruto? And the big question that I think everyone in UDA need to ask, why is it Rift Valley and Central Kenya? Aren't there governors in Nyanza? Aren't there governors in Western? Aren't there governors in, there was even heckling I think even in Trans Nzoia. Aren't there governors in Mombasa? Does it mean that it is only governors in Rift Valley and Mount Kenya that are performing poorly? You know, some of the poorest performing governors could even be coming from opposition zones. But why is president, why are those governors not being heckled in front of the president when they're there? So that question is a very important question that I think they need an answer. But the rampant heckling has one big monster in it. And this is the monster, this is the giant in the house, that it is downgrading the popularity and the stature of the president. It is downgrading. And what has actually, the reason why president's team are in panic is because of what will happen after this heckling spree? What will happen to President Ruto after, as the country continues to rebel and heckle and protest, especially those two areas of Kalenjin and Kikuyu areas? And this is not far from there. This is not far-fetched. Today, there is the first thing that is what is happening next after that protest card. Number one is the start of succession politics as people strive to replace the president. I want you to look at this video.
Tukiwa wazee wa jamii Akeyo tumepea support yetu, tunamuunga yeye mkono kwa dhati sababu awe kinara wetu wa Akeyo, na kwa hivyo na leo tumeamua kama community ya kwamba sisi tunaunga mkono Bwana Sedekea Kibuapu Ndadich aendelee ajuke mamlaka mahali piwota alikuwa kiongozi wa Akeyo kutoka Wasingishu mpaka Akeyo community msema mpaka Marakwet bila uoka, na tumewadia mamlaka mahali ataenda. Sisi kama jamii tutaenda hapo na tutasaidia yeye.
Sisi tunasema Bwana Bundoti, enda mahali unaenda, sisi tuko nyuma yako. Na ile kitu sisi tunataka maendeleo. Mpaka wakati huu sisi tumekuwa wakulima, tunafanya kazi tangu muda mrefu. Lakini sasa tumerudi nyuma kwenda kukanyaga kinyira because of poor policies ya agriculture.
Kwa hivyo nataka tu niseme kwa siku ya leo nina furaha sana kwa sababu nimepatiwa viatu kubwa kama vile mumesikia ya mwenda zake baba wetu marehemu Honorable Biwot, and I am equal to the task. Na mimi sasa nitasukuma agenda ikianzia huku Keyo nikiungana na community yote ya Wakalenjin na Wakenya wale wengine wote, kwa sababu mimi ni mtu ambaye nataka Kenya moja ambaye itajumuisha kila mtu ili tuweze kuleta uongozi ambaye itakuwa ni ya manufaa kwa kila mtu. Kwa hivyo enzi ya sera ya uongo mingi, kuna watu wakiongea inaonekana wanajua kusema sana, lakini mambo yao ni 99% uongo. Tumechoka na siasa ya uongo, na hao watu wako hapa wamesema wanataka siasa ya haki na ya ukweli. Na pia watoto ya Wakenya wote wakuwe treated kama watoto wa mama moja. Haijalishi wewe ni Muluya, Mkikuyu, Masai, Mkalenjin, lakini tunashangaa Wazingishu wengine wanatugawa hata kwa sub-tribe. Sisi tukiwa community yetu ya Wakeyo, we are beyond that.
This video that we've just watched, elders in Kalenjin land, in someone Sigishu, drawn from some areas, endorsed Buzeki as the man to steer the community to the next level. That is succession politics. They endorsed Buzeki, and you could see the way they're saying, you know, even those fellows who are talking there is something they're communicating, that we want someone that can fight for our rights because of poor agriculture policies. That man was talking about William Samoei Arap Ruto. And this succession politics, you know, there've been an attempt to silence it. Just today, I saw a story that Cherargei, finally Murkomen has sued Cherargei. I'll look at that. But what do you think is bringing that? You know, what do you think is bringing the situation where Murkomen is suing, is taking Cherargei to court? It's succession politics. Now, succession politics is what will create a division. And if there is something that William Ruto strives to do even in 2027, is just to keep the 2022 matrix and get something small from opposition basket. That's it. And if the whole home ground starts protesting, that is where they draw the line. Number two, the divergent voices in the region are emerging. Look at Keter and Ledama Olekina. Ledama Olekina attended the burial of the mother to the first Narok governor, Tunai. And in that event, he confronted the president and told them, about some policies that are not good.
Mimi nachunga ng'ombe ndugu yangu. Na nikichunga ng'ombe sitaki hii kodi ya kuja kulipisha ng'ombe kodi. Kwa sababu hii Wamasai watalia sana. Mimi nataka tujaribu kuangalia mbinu zingine za kurokota hela katika Kenya hii.
Na kuna watu wataenda jehanamu. Mujipange jameni, munusurike jehanamu kwa sababu neno la Mungu linasema, Mungu ataeleza, kuna watu watakuwa kwa upande wa kushoto, sijui nyinyi mtakuwa upande gani. Mimi najitetea niwe upande wa kulia. Wale watakuwa upande wa kushoto wataambiwa, nyinyi nilikuwa sina maji, hamkunipatia ya kunywa. Nilikuwa mgonjwa, hamkunishughulikia. Nilikuwa na njaa, hamkunishughulikia. Hata utaambiwa nilikosa kazi, lakini hukunishughulikia. Ndio sababu manifesto hii ya Kenya Kwanza ni kuepuka ile siku ya kiyama.
So that was Ledama Olekina. Now, those are for you to see that happening, those are kind of voices that William Ruto doesn't want to hear. And he knows that leaders are getting the impetus, they're getting the confidence, they're getting the validation to hit Ruto even in Rift Valley. How would you, if Ledama is confronting the president, like somewhere in Narok, what will stop leaders from doing that if the public is already protesting? So that is one of the fundamental thing that can happen. The more of emergent, divergent views, voices growing from those two regions. Even in Central, we have Gathonwa Mushomba. It's an alternative voice. He's been coming out and saying, no, this is wrong. You had the likes of Chairman Mahina Njenga. Nowadays he went quiet. So there's so many other voices that are emerging. These voices are getting the validation when the public is joining. And number three, I think Ruto is so wary of political mobility, because political mobility, especially in opposition zones, political mobility, what William Ruto is doing is just moving, running those rallies. When you go to one area, there is heckling. You go to another area, you are heckling. You know you cannot continue. For example, he's done 2 rallies, Bomet and Kericho. Then today he was in Narok. Do you know, after attending that burial, what would you expect? You would expect William Ruto to do some roadside rally in Narok. He can't go to a rally. He can't go to a political rally in Narok. He did not even fashion so. So, more of that political immobility is a big worry to him, because kama unaenda mahali heckling, these stories are emerging. And that brings me to the last bit of the media agenda on hostility, the messaging to the masses. The media is telling the masses. We are telling the masses what it is. We are reporting. We are not creating our own stories. We are telling the masses, and the masses themselves are constructing an opinion. A constructed opinion on popularity decline. And that is what makes, and you know, I want to tell you this. I honestly do agree with Edwin Sifuna that the country might in 2027 look for just send Ruto home, irrespective of who is the candidate. That angle might be here. But you know, Ruto is not a pushover. Yes, the UDA team, these guys are not pushovers. That's one thing I know. He will also not want that this much of popularity decline, because how about if you go to the vote and you lose after all this heckling? So even if you want to play your monkey games, you cannot play your monkey games, because there is already a red card in the community. So there is a bit of reason why I think, and these are some four occurrences, scenarios that are playing, where William Ruto is so wary and is calling the intelligence to make sure, and the security team to make sure that things are brought into order even before he moves to the next rally, because you never know. You never know. But again, I'm even wondering, why are you even bothering the police and the ministers and all that? You should not bother. What you need to do, instead of Kindiki going to Kericho County Commissioner's office in the morning and issuing threats about arresting hecklers, these people are mobilized by politicians around the president's tour. What? You need to call Bomet leaders, lock them in a room, look at them in the face and tell them, I told you I was coming. You are part of the organizer. Tell me, how many people did you bring there? How many people did you bring? Mostly, they even ferried with buses. So honestly, even if you want to know who brought who, you can easily know. So them masquerading, the knee-jerk reactions just to gaslight the public, I don't think is necessary, because the politicians, starting with the president himself, knows very well if there was heckling in Bomet na watu walipigia governor kelele na huyu aliposimama Aaron Chariot aliposimama walimchangilia, the thing is as easy as 1, 2, 3. The same to Bomet. You can tap in. You just need to fix politics. In fact, let's just fix politics. This political intolerance will fix itself. What the politicians need to fix is politics. This is what we said when Osoro also plowed through a crowd in Kisii. And we warned, Osoro was never apprehended. Ever. No one bothered. Now that is the same thing happening. We must fix the politics first. Otherwise, we are bothering security forces for no reason.